Let's talk about what you should put in your portfolio. This week in my class, we were talking about portfolios, and there are a variety of students that are doing a variety of different things and trying to decide what's best to go in their portfolio. And so I want to talk about that. So let's see. Got a little slideshow prepared to kind of talk about it. Now, I am taking this from the perspective of someone in the graphic arts. So maybe you're going to work in design, animation, art, or maybe some other form of marketing, advertising, something in a creative field. So we want to talk about how to best present your work. Thinking about this can be stressful, trying to decide, okay, what do I really want to put in there? What's the best? What's not the best? How do I decide? What are people going to respond to? And so on. So let's make it easier. Your best work. Yes, of course, it's your best work, but how do you decide what's your best work? I would ask a question. Who are you showing this to and why? And what do you think they're going to get out of looking at your portfolio? Or can they see themselves in your work? So, is the style that you're presenting something that they need? Does it solve a creative problem that they may have? Does it come up with a solution to a design that they need to create? Or is it just something that's different and they don't need? A lot of times what you're doing is you're showing them your best work, but if it doesn't line up with their needs, even if you're the best artist in the world, it's not going to work out, and you can't take that personally. So that goes into creating relevant work. So make sure that you're showing things that are applicable to the field that you're trying to enter. And if you don't have that, guess what? Make it. So if you're trying to do branding design, show branding design. If you're trying to do logo design, show logo design. If you want to do characters and art, show that instead. Take the time to study your audience and to study the marketplace and think about what you want to put in there. Now, this one is really important. I think this is becoming more and more important. I probably should have put this as number one. Show your creative process. So, we now are working in a world with AI, and every day it changes. We're up against the machine trying to decide how we're going to compete, what we're going to do, what we're going to use. In fact, someone recently sent me a picture as a joke, an illustration of me, and I was like, man, AI is going to put me out of the job because the illustration looked so fun and cool. And I'm like, that would have taken me a day to do that. Yet, computer did it in a few seconds. So, what do we show then that actually is competitive and is actually what's going to show off what we are, and it's our thinking process. Show your thinking process. So show your preliminary work, talk about your research, explain or show your different versions and how it changed or how your design changed over time based on hopefully client input so they can see that, oh, you are a reasonable person. You talk about things, you can explain things, and then you can show your final solution. So spend time doing that. I think that's really important. And it also shows the human touch to what we do, and that's what's going to set us apart. Variety. All right. In my experience, I've had to become kind of a jack of all trades. And so I've had to show different types of work in my portfolio. This isn't mine, but what I'm showing it is to say, I may not be a photographer or a photo editor, but maybe I show some in my portfolio because I want to show how marketing comes together in my overall experience, that I can work in this program or that program, or I can do this or that. This advice is a little bit different than maybe what I received back when I was a young design student. Back then, they really told you to specialize. And while I think that is important, I also think you need to be prepared to be versatile so that you can, work with a variety of clients because you don't always know what they're going to need. But if you show enough of a variety, then maybe you can hit something that they do need. Next one, I think, is your personality. Don't be afraid to show your personality. That kind of goes into the creative process a little bit too. What you're doing is you're selling you. Do they want to work with you in the first place? Can they see themselves in the work that you create, but can they also approach you? Are you someone that they think they could talk to, someone they think they could work with, someone that has a similar view on the world, somebody that thinks not like them, but understands how they think? So me, personally, I start showing more of my illustration, which In my illustration, I tend to do some fan art and some pop art and some things that are about the things that I like. And why not? If I'm showing what I know how to do, why not pick subjects that I actually enjoy and care about, right? If you just do some austere, simple painting of this and that nobody actually can connect with, then it's not that special. It's just kind of generic. So why not show your personality and see where it goes? So, what's in your portfolio? What are you going to put in there? You. Put you in there. All right. So, look at what you've created. Um, be honest with yourself. Pick your favorites, pick the best. And I say that if you're doing a print portfolio, show at least a dozen things. Your website, you can show much more. You can make different categories, present different things, and to show your work. It's also easier to show your process online because you have more space. So you can create like a blog post about your work. You can show preliminary work and actually explain what you're doing. You can make videos, whatever you want to do to explain yourself. I think that's a good idea. So show you, and I think it's going to work out. All right. Don't be so worried about landing that perfect job. That's kind of a lot of pressure. Is thinking, okay, how am I going to get that perfect job? Yes, we're going to aim for that and we're going to try to tailor our portfolio for that. But at the same time, keep your eyes open for somebody or someone or something that comes along and says, hey, you know what? I could probably do something for them. Extend yourself a little bit. See if you can make a partnership, form a deal, make some sort of agreement and work for them and work with them. Now, your strategy may change whether or not you're trying to get a staff position or you're trying to work independently and do freelance. That may change. Your strategy might be more personalized and targeted if you're trying to do a very specific thing. If you're trying to get a staff job, I think it's really important to show your work, your variety, and also your personality so that you're a good person to work with. All right. Hope that helps. If you have other suggestions or ideas, check back with me, link with me, comment online. All right. Good luck. You can do it.